Alright, hello. I got the spark plugs today. It was a pretty long lineup, and of course, because of the situation, you have to be extra careful. So, Motorcraft, I always buy them. Most parts I buy cheap, aftermarkets, but for certain products like the spark plugs and the coolant and the oil filter, I always buy Ford. If it was a civilian one, it wouldn't really bother me much. Now, specification is 54, and then the anti-seize, and I like to use the same box to place them in once they're ready. All in all, it was mostly the waiting for the parts. I understand the current situation. I've sent a few letters for official purposes, and letters that used to take 2-3 days, they'd say they received it within a week or sometimes even 2 weeks later. For some place that takes me not even 5 minutes to drive to, but they wouldn't even let me go there and drop it in the mailbox. It had to be mailed. So yeah, go figure on that. So basically, out of all the things I do in the engine, this is pretty much the only thing for me that's hairy. 54. Trying to get a good camera angle and the light. So there's 55. It's already a tight fit. Oh, I believe these are pre-gapped because it's already fit. The last batch I brought, I had to crimp them. Let's see if they roll like that now. 54, 55, 54, yep. See? These are already pre-gapped. Excellent. Thank you, Ford. Very kind of you. Yep. The few times in my life, this one's a little loose. Just a slight little pinch, not too much. And there we go, 54. That was the first box. Second box. Trying to get the light, sorry. Yep, same thing. Second box, these have already been pre-gapped. I've had the car now for 5 years, and I've changed the plugs maybe 4 times. This one is premature because I bought the plugs 3 months ago, but because of the engine damage. And this is the first time where they're actually okay. So far at the beginning of the rebuild, good news so far. This one's a little loose. See? So very, very gently just a tiny bit of force. And that's enough. $54. Good enough. Now for the anti-seize. Easy, simple. Might need 2 boxes. I don't want to get it all smudged all over the place. I have a friend who has the same engine, he smears it all over, but you don't really need to do that. Basically, this is good enough for the whole batch. And that's it. Well, that's for me. That's what I do. A little too much. For spark plugs, for me, it's always better a bit too little than too much. Too much and you go beyond the torque. That's from my experience. I started doing this yesterday, but I started having lots of people stopping and asking me what I was doing, so I ended up shutting the camera off and not really doing much. People asking me to do brake jobs or oil changes. I used to do that, but when you got someone who's constantly next to you with their arms crossed, saying over and over how long it's going to take, what are you doing, is this going to cost me, it's not very pleasant. When you're working in a garage, it's easy. You just ask the shop manager to get rid of the client, but when you're working at home, it's not always the case. Running out, so that should be enough. Now, let's bring it to the car. So, got the trusted tool. Got the plugs on both sides ready. and it's been torqued down to 25. That's it. So on to the next step.